Hello, and welcome back to Mind Read, the podcast where we talk about nostalgic things from our youth. We are talking about TV shows today. I'm Mark Horahan. I'm joined by Anya Witkins and Casey Gerson. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing well. Pretty stressed about everything that's going on. I'm happy to be talking about old television shows. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, same. Doing well. Excited to focus on something that's not the present. So let's get into it.
So true. I mean, there's so many TV shows. I feel like when we were younger, we kind of grew up. We were one of the first generations that was like really into TV, I think. And I think we had some of the better shows too, and we'll get into that. But I think we have to start by talking about our roots, and that's going to be Sesame Street. So, I mean, I know that the show was created in like the 60s. It was created in 69, which is so old, and that just like blows my mind every time I remember that. But it was such a cute show, like all the singing and all the different characters. Cookie Monster, definitely my favorite. So I don't know. I think that's definitely one of my like favorite shows that comes to mind, but I would definitely not rewatch it. You know what I mean? What do you guys think?
I think how you said, because it's an educational show, like it was on all the time with me. I was a big Elmo fan. Big Elmo fan.
Love.
But always on 24/7 at random times. So it was just like convenient.
Totally. And the parents love it. So that was a plus, I think, for me.
Yeah, Sesame Street definitely like has some warm, fuzzy memories attached to it. Cause like that was just such a simpler time. Like, how can you not, when you think about that, just, think about everything being simpler and just watching Elmo and Bert and Ernie. I love them. I love Bert and Ernie. I loved Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster. How could you not? Just icons across the board.
No, I love it. And Big Bird, like, I don't know, now I'm just thinking about all the different characters, and I'm just really happy about it. That being said, I think my favorite of all time was on Cartoon Network, and it was Tom and Jerry. Like, I would eat lunch with that every day when I was younger. So that's my favorite. I know Anya like loves Cartoon Network. We've talked about that.
I do. I love Cartoon Network. I definitely was raised on Cartoon Network for sure. Like that was my go-to channel. I picked it over Nickelodeon. I picked it over Disney. And I really loved Cartoon Network at the time where it started to merge with Adult Swim, because things got really weird on Cartoon Network when that happened. Like the shows were really like surreal and kind of like very trippy in a way, but it was a lot of fun to watch. I remember one of my favorites was The Misadventures of Flapjack. That was about like a sailor who lived inside a whale with like a captain, and it was out of the box for sure, but I think I really liked as a kid that they were like pushing those boundaries and doing kind of like weird stuff. They used a lot of like multimedia. They used like stop motion in some episodes of that show, and it just gave it like a really textured, cool like look and feel. Some other Cartoon Network shows I loved were the older ones. Like I have some actually on my shirt here. This is Dexter's Parents from Dexter's Laboratory. And The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy were also amazing shows.
No, they had so many good ones. And like you said, they were always kind of like a little bit strange, but it just worked. And I always liked them as a kid. It was just something a little different than some of the other networks, for sure.
Just very relatable. They were just, those shows just, it clicked with everything that we were just at our age.
Yeah. It was almost like so not relatable that it was, like you said, it was all this like multimedia. There was like clay, but it was being shown on a cartoon, and it was just like so strange. But I think, yeah, like you said, it's definitely was good for us as children, because it was just kind of right in that same like wavelength.
Yeah, it definitely like it wasn't what you were expecting to see, but that made it more captivating almost. That made it like harder to look away from the TV. So it definitely worked for me.
No, yeah. And then also, didn't they they have SpongeBob on that network as well. Is that the
No,
same?
that was Nickelodeon, which I know Mark is a big fan of.
Okay, yes.
Very big fan. But before our next topic, for all our new listeners, welcome to Mind Rewind with Anya, Casey, and myself, Mark, where we talk about our beloved TV shows from our youth. Going off what Casey said, yes, SpongeBob is on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was my cup of tea when I was a kid. From those shows like Drake and Josh and all those, like Drake and Josh, SpongeBob, iCarly. But one show that hit home for me the most was Avatar. Have you guys seen Avatar?
This is actually such an unpopular opinion, but I never really watched Avatar. I never like got into it. I've never seen a full episode. Like, I know I'm going to be crucified for that, but it's just the truth.
It's very soft.
Anya, I'm with you. I actually have never seen it, and all my brothers and sisters are like, this is the best show ever. You have to watch it. And I always said I would, and I just never got around to it. But now I'm like, maybe I should go back with all the time that we have on our hands and just do that.
I mean, I was like how you guys were saying you were like Sesame Street, Cartoon Network. I mean, when I tell you I was a diehard Avatar fan, I have a story. I mean, I'm probably going to regret saying this, but around second grade, somewhere around there, I wanted to look like Aang, the main character from the show, really bad. So I decided to take a pair of scissors and start cutting my hair to put arrows on top of my head.
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
My mother came home, we won't discuss that, flipped out. Ended up getting a crew cut at like 7:00 at night. Had to go into school with like no hair on my head. Kids are like, what happened to your head?
Oh my God.
I was like, I try to make myself look like Aang. So that makes my point very firm how of a diehard fan I am. I mean, during quarantine, they put it on Netflix. So just go out and go look at that, guys.
You definitely showed your dedication as an Avatar fan for sure. Like, they should send you some like free stuff.
Hopefully they see this. Hopefully they hear this.
We'll send this to them, and maybe you'll get.
But yeah, so Netflix released it, and then they also have the sequel to it, or Legend of Korra. So you guys should get on 2 of those shows.
Okay.
How's the sequel? Does it compare to the
very
original
good?
one?
Very good. I mean, it's comparable, but I'm still taking Avatar over it's just Die Hard.
Fair.
You can't beat the original, I guess.
Never.
All right, guys, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Mind Rewind with Mark, Casey, and Anya, and we'll see you next week.